Our beautiful blue planet Earth is always orbiting the sun, sandwiched between Venus on our left and Mars on our right, all at different speeds through our 360-degree elliptical orbits. So it's unusual and a lovely rarity when Venus and Mars happen to be whirling through the universe together in the same zodiac sign. But that's what's happened since July the 28th, the first time that that's happened in 2019 and even before. And we are going to have those two cosmic lovers in a beautiful synchronistic resonance through the rest of August and up to September the 15th. Until this week, their sweet resonance together has been in a happily delicious Leo hug. So our relationships have been blessed by sort of an easy simpatico. Friends and lovers have been finding a perfect, harmonious resonance that has helped clear up any misunderstandings and put our partnerships on a smooth road ahead. Now this week, which is August 19th to the 25th, that's going to start shifting from Leo into the sign of down-to-earth practical Virgo. The warrior Mars is fittingly out front with the shift. As he began the march in Virgo, it's actually going to end up being a big parade, but he went into Virgo on Saturday the 17th. And now this week, Venus, quickly behind him, goes into Virgo on Wednesday the 21st. It becomes a parade because on Friday the 23rd, the sun goes into the sign of Virgo. And as they're riding along together, they're also going to be joined by the messenger planet Mercury, moving into Virgo next week on Thursday the 29th. And all of this heading towards a beautiful lineup in Virgo when the moon joins them for the new moon on August the 30th. This is an opportunity for success in anything that you're working on, but especially those projects that are helping to heal yourself, others, and of course then the world that we are all spinning around in. Hi, I'm Judith Royal. I'm an archetypal astrologer, and this is your astrology weather forecast for the week of August 19th to the 25th, 2019. The songs we sang around those warm campfires of a lazy summer vacation are not gone. They're still humming in our heads. And I think also the sweet romantic fantasies from our favorite beach reads are still lingering in the hot air of summer's end. But we're now shaking off the sand out of our sandals and our shoes and throwing all those salty, wet beach towels into the washer because Virgo is the cleanup guy. And so we're cleaning up and getting back to work in Virgo's organized, practical, and brilliantly thoughtful way. Of course, Virgo is the sign for the back-to-school worker, and also, of course, the perfect sign for the Labor Day weekend. But Virgo is by far not just about cleanliness and hard work. Virgo is really the energy, the resonance of organization, very analytical thinking, and is actually the place of the great healing physician. A healing physician who is all about natural remedies. And while the challenge to your relationships, while the lovers, Venus and Mars, are in Virgo, of course, along with the Sun, is that we can be rather picky and somewhat critical of one another if we're not careful. And remember, of course, that none of us thrive under negative judgment and criticism. But the positive side of Virgo and what you can really accomplish by being in sync with this rhythm is to go ahead and take on a newer, a healthier regime. Especially Virgo loves the nutritional sciences and diets, new diets, not a fad by any means, not in Virgo anyway. Virgo's sort of no frills and especially no junk. And I think that extends under this Virgo influence. I think that extends to us saying, let's get back to just what's real. And where can we turn to find the truth? A friend of mine was talking yesterday about, well, one of my favorite obsessions, being right. And he had had a particularly disturbing event in his family that seemed to require him to judge who was right in this instance and who was wrong. And he was doing what he thought was a real bang-up job of that, right? I do too. And he noticed, however, that he was definitely uncomfortable. He was certainly not content. He was not feeling peaceful, even though he was definitely right. He's a retired police officer, so you can see he's had a long line of experience with this. But fortunately, his spiritual program, similar to mine, is about love, not fear, and is about peace and happiness, not war and violence. Unfortunately, he remembered that the peaceful, loving way out of this family argument was to drop the well-honed skill of judgment. And like most of us, my friend was in that situation because he had started feeling fearful that the family was not going to get along, was not going to agree, and that the old paradigm would say that meant that there would not be love between them. When you think about it, what an oxymoron to say, I'm afraid you don't love me. The one thing we know is true is that love and fear could not exist at the same time. So the choice is always one or the other. The call to judge what is right and wrong does come from fear, which is the ego's voice. And it is going to be strong under all this Virgo influence because we have a great tendency to analyze and paralyze our own selves. Think of someone in your life that you hope really loves you, but you're afraid they don't. And notice how you are bringing into that relationship the barriers of fear, instead of relaxing into the certainty. And this is also the healing side of Virgo, the certainty that you are loved, even when you can't feel it or you don't see it. It's a great opportunity that our week starts off with love at first sight, Aries moon. And that's a lot of fire and a great active beginning to your week. And it has with it a blessing from jovial Jupiter on Monday. So rather than being a moody Monday, this is going to be quite a happy one, and even lucky. So the Aries moon stays with us into the night hours of Tuesday, where she's also going to make a beautiful music with the Sun and Venus together. This is the very definition of happiness. Please expect it. And of course, always expect a miracle. So on Wednesday and Thursday, the moon is in down-to-earth Taurus. And Wednesday is the day, remember I mentioned that Venus is fully moved into the sign of Virgo. And we have a beautiful, again, optimistic gift from jovial Jupiter. And this one, though, on Wednesday, has a bit of an out-of-the-blue surprise. But I think you'll like it. And on Thursday, that Taurus moon stirs up and triggers a actually easy and harmonious alignment with Saturn and Pluto, those two big Capricorn guys who are ushering us right now into that new 500-year cycle. So look at what shows up for you in terms of the urge to change or transform something about you or your life. Friday, the 23rd, is not only the day that the sun leaves Leo and goes into Virgo, but the moon also is leaving Taurus and going into Gemini. And Gemini moon is that plethora of ideas, that multitasking emotion that would have us take on way too many things at one time. So we get a little stress on Friday because the Gemini moon, that's an air sign. Okay, so air signs, you do get a breath of fresh air. But we have so many planets in Earth and in water that it causes some tension when you want to bring your ideas to someone else, or you just are hoping that your emotions or your feelings can be understood by someone else. You're not likely to get that on Friday. Then the moon is still in Gemini for Saturday, but this is the day that Venus and Mars, remember they're both traveling together in Virgo, but this day is when they meet and pair up side by side, sort of Siamese twins, and they are thinking exactly alike. So, if you didn't have restraint of pen and tongue during all that fiery Leo energy, now you can look to straighten it out. Just be prepared that if you have been operating out of something imaginary or a fantasy, it's going to drop to earth like a rock. Sunday afternoon, the moon moves into home sweet home Cancer. And so you might love a hike in the morning, but you're going to want to settle in at home for the rest of that day. We can put our feet up and have a well-deserved rest. And all of you air signs who might be despairing that Gemini air moon was so short, let me give you something to hope for on the road ahead, because just as all these planets are parading together in a lineup in Virgo, and many of them did the same thing, remember, in a lineup in Leo before that, well, they're going to do the same thing in Libra beginning September 14th. The exception being Warrior Mars, who's going to stay back in Virgo until October the 3rd. This makes the months of August and September an unusually productive and downright miraculous time to put practical feet on our dreams and to stand for our truth with our voice. First, in the microcosm, those small things in your home life, your family, your community even, that when those are brought into alignment with your true self, with what you truly want in your life, you don't have to worry about the macrocosm, because you will start the ripple that will spread throughout the universe. Likewise, the love you put out to others today will determine the beauty and the happiness that will be held for you on the road ahead. And out there, let me just end with this, that we are going to have a harvest full moon this year. It's going to come on September 13th, and it is going to be quadruple blessings and opportunities for you to change whatever you want to change in your life and your work. It will be easy as walking down a garden path on a warm summer's day. So thanks for being with me and listening, and I will be back next week and tell you a whole lot more about how to prepare yourself for the road ahead and that big 500-year cycle. Bye for now.